Today I'm going to be teaching you how to actually record your vocals in FL Studio. There are plenty of tutorials on how to produce or mix, but when it comes to actually getting set up, there ain't really much. But without saying too much more, let's get straight into the guide. Note from me, please do not skip this part. I know you may want to get straight into the recording, but if you don't set up these settings, you'll just experience way more anger than actual song making, and that's a fact. To get started out, we're going to determine what audio driver you need to be using, as well as the settings you want to adjust. Your audio driver plays a huge role in the quality of your audio, as well as the latency, that being the delay from when you speak for when it's actually played through FL Studio. You want to come over here to Options and then Audio Settings. Here we're going to see a drop-down menu where we can choose our audio driver. You're likely going to have 2 to 3 options, that being FL Studio ASIO, ASIO for all, and if you have an audio interface, your respective audio interface's audio driver. FL Studio ASIO is a good option for many people. Although there will be some delay between your input and the output, it's easy to work, doesn't glitch, and at the end of the day, you can always just drag things into place even if there is a delay, which I'll be showing you how to do later. ASIO for all is a good option if you have an XLR mic or some other type of low latency mic. This audio driver allows you to bring your buffer size to close to 0 if your computer can handle it and effectively experience 0 latency. And lastly, we have your respective audio interfaces driver. This is just the driver that comes with your audio interface. The same things can be applied to your interface settings the way they can be applied to the other drivers. But keep in mind, if you bought an interface, they don't always come with audio interface drivers, so you may have to use ASIO for all. Anyways, let's get into the actual settings. FL Studio ASIO settings are pretty intuitive. Choose your input device and your output device, and then choose the buffer size. The lower the buffer size, the less delay there will be, but keep in mind that lower buffer sizes are harder on your computer across all audio drivers and may cause audio popping or crackling, and in some cases, it may cause there to be 0 audio at all. ASIO for all settings are a little more complex in the sense that the buffer sizes can get even lower. You decide which audio devices are used by toggling them on and off with these buttons. Keep in mind, some mics simply won't work with low buffer sizes, in addition to low buffer sizes just being laggy on your computer. Now, I personally use my XLR mic with the ASIO for all panel because mine didn't come with its own audio driver. I keep my buffer size at near 0, but I'm not gonna pretend like my computer doesn't sound like a jet engine when I record, because it definitely does. And lastly, if your interface, if that's what you're using, came with its own audio driver, the overall premise and layout will likely be somewhat similar to ASIO for all. Look around the settings and change what you need to, and make sure to focus on that buffer size. Now we can finally get into actually recording. Before you start recording, you want to make sure your mic isn't too loud, because this just creates problems whenever you want to mix. Regardless of this, you're going to want to come to the mixer tracks, and you're wanting to come here and click N1 under the mono list. And if you did everything correct in the previous steps, you should be able to hear yourself and get some feedback. Now really, I could end this tutorial here, but I want to give you a few tips on how to actually record, because that's what we're here for. The first tip I have is applicable when you are recording with a noticeable delay or you just don't want to hear any feedback. If this is you, click on the mixer track you're recording from and unlink it from the master. When you do this, you won't be able to hear yourself, but your audio will be recorded. Then when you're done recording after each bar, you can simply link it back to the master so you hear the bar. This tip isn't necessary, but it allows you to record without being messed up by the delay or hearing any feedback. The second tip is, if you're recording with delay, they don't have to stay out of place. You can literally just drag it back, get it perfect so it sounds like there was no delay in the first place. For tip 3, please record with auto-tune. It's better to record with auto-tune because if you don't sing/rap something in the correct way, auto-tune can actually make it sound worse. A big thing some people don't know is that most auto-tune plugins have a low latency see mode. So if you've ever wondered why your auto-tune makes your vocals sound delayed, this is why. For tip 4, when recording, you want to make sure that your FL Studio is set to the right BPM. Being in the correct BPM is super important for some effects like delay, among others. If you're lazy or you just don't know how to find out the BPM yourself, go to tunebat.com/analyzer, upload the beat, and it'll find it for you. For tip 5, use a noise gate with FL limiter to cut out any background noise off the rip if your room is noisy. Now I won't explain how to use it here because I explained that in my first video, so go and watch that if you want to learn how to use a noise gate. And for my last and most important tip, punch in your vocals. I see a lot of beginners try to say things in one go, which I'll admit sometimes sounds better, but if you're sacrificing the delivery to say something in one go, just punch it in. To punch in your vocals, you're gonna record one line, and after you're done with this line, start recording before this line and just continue immediately after that one. With that said, and the last tip, I have a Discord community of artists and producers that I'm building, so if you be on that, join it, you won't regret it. You'll be able to get help and talk about anything music related. Anyways, I'm done with this guide. If you enjoyed the content or learned anything, leave me a like and drop a sub as well. Also drop a comment and let me know what y'all think. With that said, I'll see y'all.